I'm doing a very quick video, hopefully, about a very small side project that I've been working on for a while. It's a very small thing, but I think it's kind of cool because it shows a couple of different technologies, and it's essentially to help me remember things. I want to remember my new neighbors' names, or maybe medication or birthdays or my wife's phone number. And the way to remember things in the literature, there's like two things you can do. The first one is active recall. So that's kind of like your typical flashcard. So you ask a question, turn the flashcard around, and you get the answer. And so you have to force yourself to try to remember the answer before you look it up. So it's not just about reading content, it's about forcing yourself to, like, testing yourself. So that's active recall. And the number one, and the second thing is spaced repetition. So you have to do that testing, that active recall, but at the right time. And the right time to do it is just when you're about to forget it. And if you can manage to do that every time you're about to forget it, you can retrain yourself. Then that's how things over time stay in your memory for much longer, in a much deeper, profound way. The problem is that it's really hard to know when you're about to forget something, right? And so that's why I did not invent any of that. That's documented literature. There are like light, quote unquote, algorithm that you can have in place, essentially kind of an exponential timeline that tells you, okay, test yourself in 1 hour, and then if you're successful in one day, and then maybe a week, and maybe a month, and a year, and as long as you get it right, the period of time increases. If you get it wrong, you start from the beginning. So as simple as that. But I was looking at a way to implement that, and so there are a few apps on the market. I encourage you to check them out. But the way I did it, I wanted to be very low key, so I'm using emails. So essentially, what I do is I send myself an email, and I've set up an email address that's called memory@localstorage.io. Local storage is the name I give that type project. And for example, I'm in the subject, that's kind of my flashcard. So in the subject, I ask myself, how do I perform a fuzzy search with Zano, for example. Like, this is a technical thing. There's always that function. I can always forget it. So I'm gonna ask myself that question, and the answer is, you have to set up a search index and blah blah blah. So it goes on and on. I'm just demonstrating here, and so that's it. This is the title. The subject is the front of my flashcard, and the body is the answer. I can put image if I want to, but I'm keeping it very simple here. And so that's it. I'm just going to send that, and now it's being processed. That emails goes to a service online called Postmark, and it's going to process the email, extract everything it needs, and then it's gonna send it to Xano. So Xano is a no-code backend that I've chosen to build this small side project. So obviously, it's gonna take needs to receive the email processes. So it might take a second or two, but eventually, what we'll see is that it's gonna show up in my emails database. I only have one table. It's just emails, and it's just kind of the subject line, the body, and when it's been created, and a few other things. And so let's see if it's here already. You can see I already have used it in the past to, in this case, remember the phonetic alphabet. As you do, like A as in alpha, B as in Bravo, C as in Charlie. So I always struggle to remember what the right word name for that letter is. So I've used that technique to learn that. And you can see I'm at level 9. So every time I get the answer right, I'm kind of passing another level. So now I'm level 9, so 8 or 9. So pretty good now with the phonetic alphabet. So let's see if that. See, I got an email. I'm saying, all right, it's been received. This is my test that's been received. All right, thank you. I'm going to archive that email. So hopefully now I should be able to see it. So if I search for fuzzy, there it is. So it's been created, December 12th. That's right now at 1:26 p.m. That's like a minute ago. And that's the email I got. So then I need to email myself back to prompt me to answer that question again in an hour or day or 10 days or things like that. And so to do that, I use Xano tasks. And so I have one task that's called send test. And so what it does, it's that it's going to run every minute. You see at the bottom here, every minute it's going to look at all my email in that email table, and it's gonna look at when they were created and what level I'm at, and if I passed or failed. And then I won't go into the exact logic, but it's all in there. And if it's time for me to be tested again, it's going to send me an email through that same postmark service that I mentioned originally. And if not, it's just going to loop through the email and be done. And then a minute from now, it's going to try again. And so that guarantees me that over time, I'm going to get the email at the exact right time I need to best remember it. And you can see now, like I start with like 1 minute, and then it goes higher and higher. So like this is what it looks like when I test myself. So I'm just getting this random email. I mean, not so random, but like in the middle of my day, I get, how do I perform a fuzzy search with Xano? And before I click, and you can see I'm not seeing the result in the preview because I don't want to cheat. So before I click on it, I have to ask myself, well, how do you do that? I have to create a search index, and then I have to use that search index in the condition when I do the query and all of that. So if I come up with a solution in my head, and then I open the email, and then I can see what the solution actually is. And if I pass, if it's correct, I actually don't have to do anything. That's a little trick that is set up because most of the time, 90% of the time, I get it right because that kind of mechanism works to remember things. So I optimize for when it works. 90% of the time, I don't have to click on anything. So when I get that email, I just swipe archive it when I get it right. Now, the few times where I fail, I can click fail, and that's just going to reset the email to send me again in 1 minute and 10 minutes and so on. Or I can stop if I'm done, if I don't really want to learn that thing anymore. And so that's it. I can just let that email archive it, and then in a few more minutes, maybe a day or 10 days, it'll just prompt me again. And over time, that's how I remember a lot of things. And just before I let you go, just a quick look at what the API look like. I've got one entry point where my email service will send the email. So that's a post. It's going to post to Xano with all the information in the email. And then I only got 3 endpoints. It's going to be, those links in my email. Did I fail? Did I pass? Did I stop? And it's as simple as that. Obviously, there's a little bit more logic in the task itself to do that kind of auto pass by default. If you are all interested in that, let me know. It's kind of a cool project I like to talk about. And if you're just curious, feel free to use it. So again, it's memory@localstorage.io. Put the front of your flashcard in the subject and the back of your flashcard in the body, and it'll prompt you at the right time. So that's it. That's kind of a cool little thing you can do with Xano without necessarily needing a front end or just using email as your front end. I hope that was interesting. Thank you very much. Bye.